allow me,
Yes.
what happened after I've testified here. I was taken out of my office at gunpoint and on the 31st of January.
Mr. Mpofu cannot appear or attempt to appear to gag the evidence leaders and the commissioners.
May I respond, Chair?
I do not remember the exact date of this email. I have no recollection of subjecting the member to a polygraphic test relating to the theft of a coffee machine. I should not have to answer this allegation in this statement. I do so out of caution and attach the mails from Lieutenant General Lesetja because of the very real prospects that these questions may be directed at me, even though I have not received the requisite notices and additional documents from the Commission. Commissioners, I want to add that on these paragraphs, the placement of Warrant Officer Sanders, the complaint, it was very serious. I think the Commission has also this document, which they provided to us later, I think in the early hours of yesterday. They have this complaint whereby there was a serious allegations of Warrant Officer Sander and other members involved in the theft of cocaine at the harbor and selling it to a specific gang. I'm just worried to say names of other people that never came here, because the last time I was caused to say certain names, and I'm on litigation for your information, Commissioner, as we speak. Now, based on the allegations, they were of a serious nature that warranted that in that process, if my memory serves me well, Colonel Jacobs was the acting provincial commander. Brigadier Nyusa was not there. The process that I followed, I called Colonel Jacobs to come with Warrant Officer Sander. I wrote a letter. I signed it. It was flagged here. I saw this is my signature, but it was redacted. I placed him at supply chain management until the investigation is finalized. It's a process that we do in the police. Like myself now, my supervisor is an example I'm making. My supervisor has suspended me. He was placed as elsewhere. Mine is worse because evidence was given under oath before this commission and I was suspended. So it is a process. When there are allegations against you that relates to what you are doing, you will be either placed elsewhere or suspended. He was never suspended and he never lost any income. He got his full salary, his danger allowances, and the scarce skills allowance. So the issue of the coffee machine, commissioners, in that office where he was placed, I don't remember him because I was watching the commission on that day. I don't remember him, I might be wrong, informing the commission that actually in that office there were 4 thefts. It is in the provincial office. Nobody will just come in there. A member of the public, even your good self, you will never come in. You will be escorted into the building if you are not working there. There was a theft of a camera of the state. There was a theft of a state laptop, which possesses sensitive information in that office. There was also a theft of a laminating machine. His coffee machine was the last one. The person who initiated and applied for these members that are employed in the supply chain management where this Sander was placed was initiated by Brigadier Nyusa. I was out of office by then. The only thing I did is to sign the call-up instruction and say all these members must go for polygraph test because there was no break-in, but things are disappearing. And I believe that was done bona fide, not to punish any person, commissioners. So those are the issues that I wanted to address, although they are not in the Regulation 10.6 or on the subpoena, just to give the commissioners a clear picture as what happened. He comes here and cry and say, I subjected him to the, what you call, a polygraph test for the theft of his coffee machine. That is not correct. Maybe for lack of a better word, it is insane of me to shall have done that, commissioners. If you are a victim, then I put you on the polygraph test. That is wrong. He misled the commission. I want to pause there and continue with my statement.
Sorry, General. I'm not sure I follow that. What exactly is not correct?
It is not correct that he was subjected to polygraph examination because of the theft of his own coffee machine that was stolen in that office. It was not only him. The person who initiated everything and made arrangement is Brigadier Nyuswa. I only signed the call-up instruction. And I believe the commission is in possession of those documents. I don't have my tools of trades since they were taken when I was taken at gunpoint out of my office. My laptop, my gun, my laptop is gone, and then documents that I was supposed to prepare for my disciplinary, I was taken out of my office like somebody, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like a dog. And that thing is still a pain here. And it cost me to lie in hospital for 2 weeks. Now, I'm telling the commission here to show certain implication. I'm not requesting for any mercy, but I want to assist this commission. Now, Commissioner Kumalo, I hope I answered you, Commissioner.
Yes,
Chair,
yes.
Chair.
Yes, you have.
Pardon me, I'm addressing all of you as commissioners, but if I have to say chair, I will try and say rectify.
I am a commissioner.
Okay.
Thank you, please continue.
Or rather say justice. Commissioner Kumalo also interposed at some point, stating that this was integral to the commission's terms of reference and inquired whether the evidence would have to be put to me. So it is indeed so that any statement I give is twofold. It is in the first instance my recordal of facts as I know them, and second, my response to the averment made about me in the Rule 3.5 notice that I received contrary to Mrs. Berger's opinion. I say with respect that my treatment at the commission is being unfair, and I'm a civil servant with 38 years of service now. My means are limited, and the piecemeal manner in which my evidence is being managed is materially impacting my ability to protect my rights and interests at the commission. I'm not asking for any unique or irregular, simply that the evidence implicating me is led and thereafter I respond thereto. As matters stand, I have had to prepare this statement at short notice, and as it turns out, may very well have to file another statement to deal with Sanders and other witnesses' evidence. It certainly cannot be that Sanders and others' evidence, controversial as it is, and which paints me as having irregular transferred him, can go unchallenged. It also cannot be that the evidence, as stated by Commissioner Kumalo, must be put to me, as I was not served with a Regulation 3.5 statement and a Regulation 10.6 notice, or any other material documents. I have simply been advised by Ms. Berger that this will transpire. This process is called for in the rules of the Commission itself to protect the rights and interests of witnesses who appear before it. I want to also add the following in my evidence in chief, that when Warrant Officer Sander was placed back to his office, this was my words. These were my words, commissioners. I informed Brigadier Nyuswa that Warrant Officer Sander, because this investigation is taking too long, someone from the legal services wanted to stop his allowances. And then if it is the employer who placed you elsewhere, you can't do that. And then as the investigation was continuing, the only thing that was found at that stage was the misconduct of him not declaring the directorship of a shooting practice company. However, I think the investigation is ongoing of those allegations because they are of a serious nature. I don't know what is the status at this stage, but I said Warrant Officer Sander can go back to SOKI. SOKI is Serious Organized Crime Investigation. I've never specified that he shouldn't be placed where he was. I said he can go back to SOKI. SOKI is where he came from. And as far as I'm concerned, he was supposed to go back to his normal duties. I don't remember writing a letter writing specifically there that he must be placed at EPR, as it was said by Brigadier Nyuswa. I don't recall. I don't have a recollection of me doing that, but my recollection is he can go back to Serious Organized Crime Investigation in Durban office, where he was working before. I wanted to bring that under the attention while I'm still under oath.
Can I just understand, when you say you don't recall, is that equal to saying you never gave such an instruction? Because Brigadier Nyuswa was quite firm about it, that it was your instruction, and he followed your instruction that he goes to EPR.
Commissioner, I've never given that instruction. If I have given it, I would have maybe, or the commission would have got a document as much as I placed him in supply chain management. Certain things we do them in writing in the police. This verbal instruction, it is out of necessity to do verbal instruction because of the situation we are facing with. This one, it was not an urgent thing, Commissioner. So you're correct. I never gave Brigadier Nyuswa that type of an instruction that he mustn't go back there, he must go there.
On the back of that explanation, there must then be, given the explanation you are giving, that you do things in writing, there must then be a letter where you say he should be taken back to SANEP.
I believe so, Commissioners. Okay. However, as I said, my tools of trades were taken by force.
Yes.
On the 31st of January, my laptop and everything, I don't know what happened there. Even now, trying to get certain information to assist the Commission, it was a serious mountain to climb.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sorry, General. You say the investigations are ongoing. That is, investigations in respect of the serious allegations concerning Lieutenant Colonel Sander.
Warrant Officer.
Warrant Officer. Oh, I'm promoting him. Sorry about that. If I'm not mistaken, I think his testimony was that those investigations had come to an end. Somebody told him so. I forget the detail around that, but that's the distinct impression he created. Perhaps, in fact, more than just an impression, I think he said so in so many words. Now, do you know anything about that?
Commissioner, as I've indicated, since 31 January, I was never at work.
No,
there is that possibility.
My sense was that this was a matter of a few months, which would mean, if correct, you were still there. So it was before your suspension. That was my sense.
Yeah, I do not have a proper recollection of that, Commissioner. But as far as I'm concerned, it is not easy to close that type of investigation at a very short space of time. the way it was dealt with, because also the DPP was involved guiding that investigation.
A different debate we can have. The issue I was raising and I was taking issue with mainly is that the questions should not even be posed and to offer the witness an opportunity to engage and deal and respond thereto. And that is what I'm objecting to. Mr. Mpofu cannot appear or attempt to appear to gag the evidence leaders and the commissioners. Because it's a fact-finding inquiry, the questions will be posed, answers will be provided, at the conclusion of which the commissioners will reach certain their own determinations.
Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, Silo, can I read for both of you Regulation 8, Sub 1 of this Commission's regulations? The heading is persons appearing before the Commission. And then Sub-Reg 1 says, no person appearing before the Commission may refuse to answer any question on any grounds other than those contemplated in Section 3, Sub 4 of the Commissions Act.
I confirm, Commissioner, a reading of Section 3 of the Act is the section that introduces legal privilege.
Yes, Mr.
Can I
Mpofu.
just assist, really? Because I
Thank
don't know
you.
why.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Chair, really, this thing is going out of control. This is a simple intervention. I don't know about gagging or stopping questions or whatever. Where that happened is not in my imagination. There's no question that we're gagging. All I said to provoke all of this past hour is I want to put into perspective the reasons why he is uncomfortable with answering certain questions, which I had understood, and I accepted Commissioner Baloi's summation of that, that look, we're not going to put a gun in your head if you're uncomfortable, but there might be, when the evidence is being assessed, there might be consequences. That's what happens with every witness. That I accept. I don't know about the gagging and all this story, this drama. But the issue, Chair, I can maybe curtail this without even an adjournment. Can I just approach the General and I'll come back and curtail this whole thing?
Let us, sorry, Mr. We'll take a 5-minute, in the meantime, let's adjourn.
May I respond, Chair? Thank you, Chair. No, I think we're on the same page as far as that's concerned. All I'm doing really, I'm here to protect the interests of this client. I'm simply saying, if and when he says to Ms. Zillo, I'm uncomfortable answering that question about the bags or whatever, because it might expose me to something else. All I'm saying is to put that into context so that the Commission doesn't read something else into that, to think maybe that's because he stole the drugs or whatever. He is explaining the reason why he's doing this. In America, it's called taking the Fifth Amendment, right? He is saying, I'm uncomfortable in answering that question because it's going to expose me to something else. Honestly, that's all I'm saying. You can say from someone taking the Fifth, oh, that means he's guilty, that's fine. Someone can say that. Or you can say he's protecting himself from further jeopardy. That's up to the Commission, but I'm just putting that into perspective.
Just to conclude this, Mr. Mpofu, it's actually something I thought of as the General was responding quite early on. I forgot to raise it when I was engaging you. In the context, for example, of there being criminal proceedings in the background, a witness may say, I will not answer for fear of self-incrimination, which is understandable under Section 35 of the Constitution. In this context, what would, assuming that the question is relevant to the terms of reference, I want us to avoid the question, but this one is not. I just, as a matter of principle, want to understand the legal basis for a witness where there are pending disciplinary process, what the basis for remaining silent would be.
Yes. Thank you, Chairperson. That's a valid.
I'm not saying there isn't.
No. I'm not taking it that way either. I think we're all trying to explore the same thing. Chairperson, as you know, I'm the first one to say, that's why I said in the morning, I'm not raising this at a technical level. It's true that Section 35 doesn't apply to this situation. To you and me, that might make a difference. But we must put ourselves in the shoes of people. Whether I'm exposed to criminal prosecution or I'm exposed to being fired at work, it might make zero difference to me. I'll just leave it at that. So, it's nice, the lawyering about, okay, does this now mean self-incrimination for the purposes of prosecution? It's all very nice academic debate. But if you think that when I leave here on Monday, I might be faced with something that's going to take food from my children, then quite frankly, it's the same effect as to whether or not you should expose yourself to this danger or that one.
I get the effect, and my reference to Section 35 of the Constitution sought merely to emphasize the difference or the distinction. Yes, that was merely. So the point of substance was more, in this context, what is the legal basis for saying I choose not to respond to this question? Yes. And I have not heard a direct answer from you. Well, I get and I accept your point about the effect may actually be the same. Sometimes it may actually even be worse to lose your employment. I get that. So just as a matter of law, then what would the basis be?
Well, as a matter of law, there might be zero basis, Chair. But as a matter of real life, whether you expose yourself to the... In other words, Chair, all I'm saying to you, Chair, is in real life, whether I'm exposing myself to some policeman coming into my house on Monday or some supervisor at work coming to my office on Monday, in real life, that's the same thing. In law and in the philosophies of criminal law and criminal procedure, there's a big difference. That's why there's a difference between Section 35 and Section 34 of the Constitution, because they address different situations. But those are niceties of professorial rectitude.
I must tell the commissioners that I will never take information of the police that is in custody of the police and share it with any other person. I will never do that. It is not correct to do that, and I will never do that. When I took office, I signed an oath. I will never do that. When I joined the police, I signed an oath. I will never do that. I've never done it. It's not going to happen. And it will never happen up until, even if I die, I'm able to do it in the grave.
But you are sending him details of the subs members with their ID numbers and telephone numbers. That's what appears on page 66. Do you see that there are ID numbers of people there with their cellular phone numbers, with the stations where they are based?
I see only
what
one.
Interest does Mr. Matlala have in this?
Commissioner, I see only one ID number.
Do you not see the 7521 ID number? Why do you say you only see one?
Can I be assisted? Where is the another one?
Do you see the top one is 8304 on page 66?
I see now. I see now. Commissioner, if I can respond, when I read this affidavit, I never read the entire file. I read this affidavit and then I sent it.
I'm going to try to save time. The point is simply this. If all you wanted to do was to warn Mr. Madlanga about this person who lives in the Midstream estate, the newspaper article does that. There was no need for you to send SAPS documents that has details of SAPS officers to Mr. Madlanga, because that has got nothing to do with Mr. Madlanga.
I hear you, Commissioner.
So it was wrong to do that.
Maybe it's a fault that I've done. I didn't read the entire thing to see what exactly is inside, so that maybe I must be selective to say, let me send only this one.
General